Are we live? Yes. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're live. Is that audio any better? Somebody come and talk to me in the chat. I'm not saying a word here until somebody just pops in and says, hello. Timber. The sound is fine. Trust you, Timber. You're a good man, aren't you? Hey? A little bit quiet. I don't know how you... Andy, he's back. I don't know how you turn the sound up, to be honest, on that. I've had it on the max. Maybe still down in the systems. Volume, 100%. Volume, 100%. Oh, there you go, 100% there. Is that any better there now? It's much better than it was. Thank you, Andy. While you're here, because you missed it all before, I had... I've got mouse traps in here, yeah? You know, that's better, yeah. I've got mouse traps in here, and they got a little peanut in them, yeah? So when you push that pad, it bites you, all right? So I've killed several mice already. Hello, Kelly. Thanks for the kisses, Kelly. I'll have to have a hug off you one day. Anyway, I've got rid of several mice because they were making nests in here. And it all stems from a bird feeders outside. So you got loose peanuts about, haven't you? So they fetch the peanuts into the shed, and they start munching them, and I get little piles of peanuts, the wrappers on them, and they've been making little nests. What I don't want is them making nests in here and making a mess, because I'm forever hoovering up. And anyway, I've got these mouse traps. I don't think they're £1. You get 3 or 4 from the motorist shop down the road here. The old Coed Mauer. Timber will know. And you get them for a couple of quid, half a dozen of them, you know. Anyway, I've like I said, I've killed several that I know of. I've disposed of, but 3 of them have disappeared. So beats the hell out of me. So, oh, you didn't miss much on the first stream, Kelly. Don't worry about it. You're all right, mate. So these are the mouse traps, and like I said, I'm getting rid of them. But 3 of the mouse traps have disappeared. And can I find them full of money? And I'm not going searching around on my hands and knees, on my back, looking underneath the layouts, trying to find mouse traps with dead mice in it. That's the last thing I want to do, innit? Never mind all the crap they leave behind. That's why I have to get a Hoover. So, anyway, I don't know if somebody asked about how was my building going along. If I show you, this is the appliance hall. Some people call it, that's the solar panels on the top, and it's got windows in the back. Well, I've turned it into a rescue centre now, and not a fire station in a way. Now, the 2 fire engines I acquired are far too big for it, because the building's not long enough for a start, because they had ladders on them, and they were sticking out at the rear and the front, and of course the ladder's nearly on the road. So I've turned it into a rescue centre. That's the best way I could deal with it, which makes the life a bit more simple for me. So eventually, I will sort out some stickers from somewhere. Hello, John at Piccadilly. There's the second time I went live. I screwed up the microphones. they went, oh, it was going from one to the other on the cameras instead of on this lapel mic. So I think I've got the lapel working now, so it's crazy part. So anyway, what am I running is the Blue Pullman and the GWR 800, the Class 68 DRS pulling tankers, cement tankers, and the other one is the new coaches I acquired yesterday, Mark 1s, but the front doors, the end doors, are tapered off. They're not flush with the rest of the coach. They're tapered inwards, and on the sign on the top it says Paddington to Newport, Cardiff, Swansea. It's one of them old train special things. It's coming round now, and I've had to do a little bit of tweaking here and there, but I've got it right now. Apart from the manor's playing up again on the sound, and when you put the connections together, Hornby do exactly the same connections. They're on spring clips inside the connector, and they're supposed to be at an angle like that. So as you slide the plate in, it puts pressure on the pad and they level out. Well, one of them's straight. It's not curved like that. And there's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom to give you this connection. And it's not connecting properly. Uh, 8-pin. It's one of the originals, John. How does it run? Perfectly. Now, when you look at the rear of the train, you won't see any red lights. That is my fault. I blew them up. I short circuited it. So what do they call them? The little device transfers the power into the PCB board. Oh, what's it called? It's a little, not reflector, reactor, whatever they call it. And short circuited that, and the rear lights don't work. Thank you, Steve. So the front lights work, but motor-wise, no trouble whatsoever with it, John. And I had it as a retirement present 5 years ago. So it's run for 5 years. But the only thing is you have to use a Hornby 8-pin because there's not a lot of room in there. You can't put a straight one in. You gotta have the wires attached. Okay, so there's enough room to plug it in, but not for the chip. So you have to have the wire version to put it in the rest of the space. How they get sound in it beats the hell out of me, but there you go. Whether the newer ones, the 802s, are different, I don't know. Or even the railroad version they've come out with. The only thing that they've put me off on, and I am disposing of trains I've got traction tires on. I am slowly getting rid of them. I don't want to go down that route anymore with traction tires because I use the CMX track cleaner. It leaves a residue and it attacks the tires immediately and destroys them. Now, I cleaned the tracks yesterday and I was showing people earlier on. That's the sort of carbon you get off the tracks. Yeah. And I have a whole batch of them here. I cleaned 4 tracks yesterday. And I went through several pads just cleaning it with the CMX cleaner. Yeah. That's how they're supposed to look before you start. As you've seen, that's how they end up, taking all the carbon off. And it does a good job. With isopropanol, okay? Don't get any less than 99.9%. There are slightly less ones, but it's water added. And that's the last thing you want. But unfortunately, these now, if you can get them secondhand or borrow one, great. Okay. These new now are 250 quid. And they might even go up again yet when the import tax starts. There is another version, a UK version, a Shark, I think they call. So, an HM7000, I doubt it. Well, to be honest, I don't know. I have no idea on that, Joe. Have you got an 800? Have you looked underneath? I'll fetch it round here and let's have a look for you. .21 pin has loader. You wouldn't get a 21 pin in these 800s. Definitely not. So it's been redesigned for it. Let me stop it here and we'll sort it out. Remember, you got to take this plate off, and there's 3 minute screws. You can get a speaker in there, but it's got to be a very shallow one. The pins here, sort of thing, and the chip would have to be here on the harness. Without taking it off, there's very little room in there. Do you want me to take it off and show you? Just out of curiosity, I could do it for you if you want, John. That's completely up to you, mate. Tell you what, we'll do it. Okay, it might not work on the cameras, but I hope you can see it. And there's not a lot of room in there, as you can see. There's a PCB board in there. Okay, the actual plug is there, and the chip is down here. And the chip I've got in there is actually a Gauge Master. All right. So there's the harness, yeah. And you're supposed to get a speaker in there. You'd be lucky you get a sugar tube in there. I didn't realize I had a Gauge Master in there, but there you go. I thought I had a Hornby. Well, that's your problem, John. If you put a HM7000 on there as a plug-in, you haven't got enough depth in that to put it in. All right. Try and find some more research on that if you can. But these screws are, oh God, they're so small, John. Even with me bifocals, I'm struggling to see them. But there again, I'm getting older, and as you get older, your eyes get weaker. Now you think it would be a simple thing to pull out that PCB and all that shit. In the trailing car, the PCB's inside, and there's very, very little room in there. The wires and one thing and another. Oh God, I'm dropping everything here. Let's put that back in there so I don't lose it. Controls. And there you go. There's lights in the carriages, but they're permanently on, which is fed from the track through the bogies. There is no on and off switch on them. All right. But that's the only problem. You can plug it in, but you must have a harness because the depth. I did try a Gauge Master one, small one, and it wouldn't allow you to put the cover back on. That's why you've got to have a harness to move it along. Hello, Little Britain. Sorry about that before. Well, that's doing live streams. Nothing works. It's like the old saying, as soon as you turn the camera on, that's it. The phone going off, that'll be Susanna, which she wouldn't like to be on live on camera anyway. Hello, Mark. Now, there's a reason why I haven't been around for a few weeks. Now, you got to remember, I did 25 films on the bounce in December. I only took Christmas Day off, and then Boxing Day I was in here showing you the bits I've got. So I did 25 films on the bounce, and it took more out of me than I realized. It's one of those, you're under pressure to perform, aren't you? Yes, I could have done it like Anthony and opened the box and there you go, guys. End of, did a 5-minute session. But I wanted to try and make it a little bit more interesting. So I opened the packages and did a little short running session. And I changed the trains every day. Just doing them short films took 3 or 4 hours each time. It's not easy. Okay, Kelly. So basically, after them 25 films, I took a time out because you can let it get on top of you. And we've all been there. We've all burnt out on YouTube, especially remember in the COVID era when we all started. It was great for having something to do and people to watch us all doing things. And it become quite a big community at the time. And things have moved on since then, haven't they? Some people have took off, got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I can feel the pressure on them. Can you imagine Richard at New Junction, how much pressure he could be under if he allowed it to get to him, i.e. working in the industry, working for Curoscale, away at weekends doing shows, constantly on top of doing the shows and all the exhibitions. And now he's making his own exhibition layout. So he's got to find that extra time and be enthusiastic. And at the same time, he's got to think about the camera. It's a great deal of hello, Charlie. It's good to see you, Charlie. Thank you very much for popping in, mate. Well, chuff. Yeah. I was just saying the amount of pressure you can put yourself under, Charlie. I was just referencing Richard at New Junction because he's in the industry and he started off at the same time as us during the COVID era and what have you. He's got considerably a large following like yourself, Charlie. How much pressure is he under when he works for Curoscale? He's at the shows, he's at the exhibitions, he's doing films for Curoscale, he's demonstrating, he's creating his own exhibition layout. He's got to find the time to do all these things and talk to people. It can be quite pressurizing in a way to get things done. And it's like you said, and Jenny Kirk has said the same. She's tried to reduce some of her films per week, but she's still having to catch up of what the things she's got to do. And it puts you under pressure. So after 25 films on the bounce in December, I thought I'd take a time out. And I was sitting here because I've got these new coaches going around. Sorry. I wanted to sort them out. And now they're running like a dream. They have been for an hour, 2 hours, because I've got the Manor class on there pulling it. And I thought, I was listening to Andy Hot Dog Pilot, and he's on about Lord Al normally does a live stream now and then. You never know. And I thought, why the hell not? So I clicked it on. And but I had audio issues, and now I've seemed to have fixed them anyway. Hopefully, that you're listening to me okay. And but it's like you said, Charlie. You've got to You got to balance your life with your hobby, haven't you? Otherwise, the hobby consumes you, and then you end up walking away. And exactly, Andy, it's people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes to create what you do and your knowledge. You make it look so easy, so simple, but the amount of hours you've watched people. So when somebody turns up in your live stream, you know who they are, and you converse with them like your best mate, which they are in a way. It's like the rest of us, isn't it? It's one big community, and obviously some have grown, some have gone down in a way, and some have flatlined, like mine. It's sort of flatlined. But I don't want to get to a point where I'm producing a film every week, 1 to 2 weeks, like you, Charlie, and Hot Dog are doing it every week, of spending money. All you're doing is showing off what you've spent. Or fortunately, some people they can borrow a fleet because they're in a club, like Charlie does. He's got a lot of friends. It's got some nice logos, and he borrows them from time to time. But it's no one lives close enough for me to borrow anything, and I don't want people sending me stuff in the post. That's the last thing you want. If something went wrong, you'd never forgive yourself, would you? So these coaches going around, I got them yesterday. 5 coaches, which is a set, and they're the old Mark 1 coaches. I think they are teaks in a way, maybe, but they're in blood and custard, and they've got a front sloping door on them. The coach is not completely flush door-wise, and it's a corridor version, and it says Paddington to Newport, Cardiff, and Swansea. So it must have been a special shuttle. So I thought I'd put the manor class on it, see how it is. Hello, Gary. Top man. I see your layout, your TMD's getting bigger now, and it's coming on in leaps and bounds. Now you're getting some of the details in, Gary. Top man, good. And there's Moneybrook Junction. Oh God, I can never remember your names. Andy knows you all. The manor, which is the one that's running now, it's the connector from the loco to the tender. Now, the only thing in the tender is the speaker. There's no pickups whatsoever on the tender, and it's made by Dapol. And it's the connector. It's got a poor connection. It stops the rear speaker working. There's only a speaker in there in the tender. That's all it's in there. That's all the connection's for, basically. And it's intermittent because the brass pads that connect to the pad, which you plug in, is not sitting quite right. That's the only reason I don't turn it on. There's a speaker in the chimney, which is a sugar cube in the chimney, but the rear speaker is a bass speaker, and that's what gives it its best chuffing sound. I think I may have to take it totally apart. I tried to manipulate it, and it didn't really work. Well, it worked for a while. See, the sound's on now, but it's only the sugar cube in the chimney. if the rear speaker worked, you'd have a stronger sound. That's the only thing with that Manor. But you got to remember, I got it brand new off Dapol at a show in Crewe with just over £100 off. So I can't really complain. As a loco, it works fantastic. Hello, Mark Stanover. So you may hear it going around chuffing, but the rear speaker's not connecting. If here's the thing, if I manipulate it, you might be able to hear it. You know, when I say it's got no pickups on, it must have pickups because it's working. So there must be pickups in the tender. There you go. 68 coming through. Dude. So I thought there wasn't pickups. Obviously there is. Anyway, it's the connectors. The rear speaker's not working properly. That's what's happening. In fact, that's what I'll do is send it. Is it DCC Supplies? And they fixed Dapol. I could send it off to them and get it sorted. They put a new component in it. Now, the other thing I got yesterday was a Bachmann Class 20. Okay. Now, this Bachmann Class 20, brand spanking new in the box, never been opened, had been reduced from 224 to 149. Okay. And that is the DC version. So there's a good, well, it was 74 quid knocked off. So seeing as I've not got a Class 20, I thought I'd have one on the layout. So it was a no-brainer. At 74 quid off, I thought, okay, I'll go for it. Then I realized it needs a Plux 22 pin chip. Okay. Now, I'll go down the route and put sound in it, because there's no point in having a Class 20 if you haven't got sound, is there? But you cannot get hold of a Plux 22 sound chip for love of money. They're all on order. You got to wait for them to come there. So tomorrow I'll send a message over to Roads and Rails, Richard at Roads and Rails, and ask him when the estimated time of arrival is on deliveries, so I can get one sorted out. And the thing with the Plux 22, it doesn't need a speaker. It is already fitted into the loco. All I got to do is get the chip, plug it in, and away you go. So I don't have to go down the route of getting a speaker for it. So that should be a bit cheaper. So I should be able to get one for around about 9,900 quid. Well, that's the plan anyway. Hello, Paul. SJ World. There you go. Is that you, Susanna, or Simon from Denmark? I can't remember. I can't go researching. Oh my God. You're after the Plux 22 as well, Steve. Yeah, well, looks like I'm in the queue. So I'll have a word with Roads and Rails tomorrow and see what his estimate is. Oh, hello, Martin. Martin's Coalbridge Junction. That's Martin. You use Gugon, yeah. Oh, what's the name? Used to use it all the time. Everard Junction. He used Gugon. You get it from Amazon, don't you? Get it in a bottle. Looks like washing up liquid. It's the same, a similar product. It's still got an acidic in it that cleans the track, whereas the isopropanol is pure solvent in a way, isn't it? There's always something. This is what Andy Hot Dog Pilot will tell you. I'm doing this live stream now, and this is the second go of it, and it's starting to work right. But the amount of effort you have to pour into it to set everything up here to run, it's silly, you know. Now I'm at the point where I can trust the layout to run on its own, obviously, because I'm watching the chat here and talking to you guys, and it goes outside, so I've got to rely on it going out one end and coming back in the other. And if it doesn't, there's something major happen. But it does. And it's all about reliability. And it's took a long time to get to this point of reliability. But if things are not running right, and Charlie will tell you himself, you've got to take it out, take it apart, and redo it. And on my layout, because they're running it like this, I haven't got one here. I wear the points out. It's where that little plastic frog is, right in the middle of the frog. A lot of people use electrode frogs. Well, I don't. They're all mine is Insulfrog, everything. That little plastic thing, because I'm running long trains, that little plastic thing wears out. It may take a couple of years, but when you'll hear the trucks, the wheels will start bouncing, or even you can get a derailment from it because you wore out the plastic. It causes a slope on it, and then you hit the aluminium rail, the alloy rail, and then it kicks it off. Over there, last year, I had to change, was it £100 worth of points? I literally wore out, which was the double slip. They're 50 quid a pop. There was a long Insulfrog, a long one. That's 25, 30 quid. And two mediums, I think I changed in the end. So it's nearly 100 quid. All because of wear and tear. And the issues I had down here, just here, where it kept derailing and one thing and another, I had to relay all that curve. What I found was, in the end, and it's over there by the similar on the double slip, your baseboard looks absolutely flat. And if you clean your baseboard up before you relay anything, put a ruler on it, a straight edge, and you'll find there's a hollow. It depends. It's like a collapsed air bubble. You'll find it a slight hollow. And you can guarantee your track will go through the middle of that hollow. And that's what causes either derailments or bad connections, because your track is not flat. And I went through a great deal of effort there to get it level. It looks easy to you guys. This is all running around, but it's constant maintenance. Your point blades don't seem to be passing current. There could be several reasons for that. Underneath, if you turn one upside down, there's two little clips which the blade runs over. Yeah. As you operate the blade, it sort of rubs over a clip. They could be just dirty, tarnished, a drop of oil on, whatever, even a piece of glue. Same with the blade resting against the other rail, which produces the electrical contact. This is why people go to Electro-Frogs and they wire everything, and they got several wires hanging out of a set of points. I don't have that. If I could get a roaming camera and go underneath here, you don't see wires under my layout. There is no bus wires on my layout. So it's all about cleaning the rail side. You open that there, you put a small toothbrush with IPA on it, spray IPA on it, okay? And you clean it like that. You don't go nuts, just a light rub, like doing your teeth, okay? And you've cleaned the rail. It's as simple as that. But it's all about maintenance. All right, Kelly, see you later. And John at Piccadilly will tell you the same about cleaning. He does a similar thing with his N-Gage. Yeah, it's all right having spirit levels, Timber, but everybody hasn't got spirit levels. I mean, you could have that on. Where is it? You could have that on there, but it doesn't tell you there's a hollow there, you know. Yes, it's, and then you can go down that route on a smaller spirit level. Now, if I put this on here, I can't really do it now because I've got the powers on. There is a slight slope. So if I put a vehicle here, it will roll down into that corner. It's all about getting your legs level, isn't it? And that's why you have adjustable feet, one thing or another. Yeah, John agrees with me. An old toothbrush, not a stiff head, get a soft head type thing, because they do come in various grades, don't they? You get a little spray bottle like that, and you just spray it like that on your brush, and you just clean the area. Now, the trouble I have on mine is the actual frog. Where is it? There. You get a build-up of carbon in the frog. That's why if you clean the frog with a lamp, rag, okay? And I'll show you. Get a little spray bottle, spray the end on your finger, and you just wipe over where the black thing is, basically, the frog. Yeah? because you get a lot of carbon buildup in it. And if you look at that, it's black. Okay. And yet I cleaned all the tracks yesterday, as you've seen, from the pads. And it's carbon off the tracks, yeah. And if you look, it goes through. That's the backside. Yeah, that's what comes through the cloth. That's the front side, and there's the rear. That's how much carbon you get off. That's why you've got to clean your track. And once you've done it, it'll last you months, depending on your conditions, i.e. lofts, sheds, garages. If you're in the house in a fairly constant temperature, you don't get the same deterioration of the track condition. Whereas we here, because it's frosty outside, yes, overnight, the frost doesn't come into the shed, but it's at 0 or less, but it's not frosted because of the insulation on the shed. But it leaves that, as the shed warms up, because I've got the heater on, it leaves like a moisture film on the track. And of course, once you run the trains, the wheels are depositing carbon. And it's a complicated business. You can go into all sorts of whys and wherefores. But my shed doesn't sit on concrete. It sits on huge flagstones. Now, it's been here 10, 11 years, I think it is, maybe 12 years now. And how many storms and rain events, snow events, everything you can think, it's thrown everything at it. Never mind 100 degrees of sunshine on the top. This is why the roof's white, because it's insulated. The roof is insulated to stop the sun penetrating through the roof, because this literally becomes, well, you could fry eggs on it on the table here. The heat is terrible. Well, that 2-inch insulation on the roof stops the sun penetrating the heat into the shed. Yes, you're still going to get hot because it's the air temperature and the doors are wide open. And I have a big fan circulating, because this end of the shed, there is no extractor fan or whatever. I could go down that route and use extractor fans and all. As long as you've got a fan and you circulate the air, there's no issues. Well, what happens when you shut the doors and you're not here? Yeah. So you've gone shopping for the day, or you've gone out for the weekend, and it's because it's a fabulous sunny day, and it's in the 80s and 90s, and you're loving your day out with your ice cream and your hot dogs. What's the shed doing? It's slowly cooking in it, and it's the same in the winter. It slowly freezes, and this is the trouble with conditions in sheds. Some people go to a great deal of trouble about building frames, your baseboards, sealing the baseboards in PVA and then wood staining and all that. It does pay off in the long run, but if you get a good quality ply, you have no issues. But time deteriorates wood. So well, that's the thing. Yes. Now, timber. This new track cleaning rubber is the latest thing from Gagemaster, and the code is GM25. Okay. This does not scratch the rail surface. It will polish the rail surface. Okay. Now, once this train's gone by, if you look at my edge, this is big enough to fit 2 tracks, okay? And you can do that all day long and it'll polish the track. It literally polishes it. And you will actually get a mirror finish shine, yeah? And like I said, it's been proven. Model Railways Unlimited, he proved it under a microscope, and Gauge Master will tell you the same. What I use this for is that I turn it on its edge like that, and I go like that with it, and it actually does the inside of the rail. Okay, I've got what's the name's there. Anyway, I'll use it there, and you go down the rail like that, and it also, if you've got loose ballast, it moves it, gets rid of it. But if you do it like that, it makes an edge, and it cleans the inside where the flange actually touched the rail, like that. And you can do it on curves, just the same. I don't know if you can see it there, but it goes around the curve just the same, and down the straights. And you can literally clean the edge, because it's the outer edge, it's going to take the wheel anyway. And you do that. Or because you're taking the time to use the edge. So there are ways around it, apart from going rubbing down the track. You get a thing like that, and you like that all the time doing this with IPA. So, I mean, there's several people have been on YouTube. They use all sorts, from timber. Oh, see you, Charlie. Thanks for popping in, mate. Oh, hello, Clive. Nearly missed you there. Thank you very much, Charlie. I'll see you later, mate. I'll see you at a show somewhere. If not, I'll chat with you. Where was I? Where I was now. Yes, there's several people use different methods for cleaning tracks. Now, there's a few Australian guys don't use IPA. No, because they use them cheap versions, which is about 25% water. Other people use blocks of wood or balsa wood. Some use cardboard. There's so many ways of doing it. At the end of the day, as long as you clean the track, that's all it's required. But the best way of keeping tracks clean is to run locos, because you're not allowing it to get dirty, are you? And there's another product that comes on. It's called Inox. You just smear a bit on a piece of track, and the locos will take it round and put a coating surface on the tracks, and it's called Inox. Who uses it? What's his name? Peter Peter Dixon. He's used Inox on his layout, and he's never cleaned it since. Well over 12 months. All the people have said the same. But you can't run traction tires on Inox. It doesn't work. It'll destroy the tires. Okay, so if you've got a fleet non-traction tires, Inox will work fantastically for you. And the other thing you should do once a year, honestly, God, is clean your rolling stock wheels. And when it comes to that blue Pullman, you try cleaning the wheels on that. What a pain in the ass that is. The 800 just clips apart, no issues. But on the 800, there's locking clips underneath, and they're all electrical connected. Oh my God, it can be a nightmare doing that. And the last thing you want to do is break anything. And they only go on one way round. because each coach has got a letter on it. So there's a certain way it all goes. But remember, there's a motor at both ends. Now that train I've worn out. It's had 2 new motors in that since I've had it. And yet the Class 800, which has done the same sort of mileage over twice the time, yeah, I've had no issues with it. Touch wood. But the Blue Pullman, this one coming through here now, I've had to have remotored both ends. And it's the same with the ATPE, the Advanced Passenger Train. I still haven't touched that. I've got to literally take it all apart and clean every connection, because if you remember, the reason I took it off was the chip was overheating. So therefore, there must be a small short in the system somewhere. I remember there's 8 or 10 pins. Each carriage has a connecting plug in at one end and out the other. And it's all run from one chip. There's 2 motors, but it's all run from one chip. So, and I've replaced the motors in that. That's had 2 new motors in it. Because I do like the APTE flying around. It looks so different. Yeah, it's quite right, John. They are a bit of an electrical disaster. I think it's one of the LEDs. There's a shorting in the wiring system somewhere. I remember Graham Falston at the early days, back in the days, he sent his back to Rapido, and they said there was a short in one of the coaches. And I'm thinking along that lines. The train runs, but the chip overheats. Therefore, the thermal cutout cuts out, and the train goes into limp mode, and it's barely moving. So if you leave it for a quarter of an hour, as it cools down, then it bursts back to life again. But it's an expensive game. It's 120 quid, I think it is, them chips. And remember, I went through one of the first in the beginning. It was all short circuiting when I first got it, wasn't it? Do you remember? You remember when they first come out? They only made, I think, they only made 1,000 of them, something like that. And people were trying to buy them, and there's a few people flipping them on eBay, and one went for a silly price, and it was slightly damaged as well, for 1,000 quid. Do you remember that? Does anyone remember that? One of them APTs, the original ones. And I'll tell you now how you tell the difference between the original APTE and the second batch. Do you know how they tell the difference? No, I won't be going to Malvern. Jesus, I ain't driving 4 hours to go to a toy fair. Get real. Sorry about that. No. I know where Malvern is. I've been there. I used to do recycling down there, so I know about Malvern. But no, I won't be going there. Yes, right. You sent yours back twice, John. Yeah. So the APT at one end, if you look at the windscreen, it's got one wiper on it. If you look at the other end, there's 2 wipers. That designates that it was the first batch. The second batch had 2 wipers on the windscreens at both ends. And that's how you tell the difference. Unless it's been to Rapido and they've swapped the bodies and all that. But that is the difference between the first batch and the second batch. That's how they can tell. Work that one out. And now I found out, because I spoke to Rapido direct, Rapido UK, and he asked me the question. And he said, oh, yeah, you've got the second batch, no worries, send it through. And there you go. And it's all about the wipers. The first batch is 1 wiper at one end, and the second batch is 2 wipers at both ends. So, did I have the lights on? I thought I did know. Well, it must be when I tripped it off. Well, I gotta say, it's nearly time to call it a day, because it's now tea time. At least I've got it to work. That's the main thing, this live stream business. Yeah, they are cheaper at Wetherspoons, yeah. My granddaughter used to work with Wetherspoons. Yeah, didn't stay long. No. She enjoyed it, but she didn't stay long. Politics involved again. She works for Marks and Spencer's now at head office in Chester. She's doing all right. She's been employee of the month twice, I think it is, the granddaughter. Yeah, because she's not here. She never tells me, tells you whatever. She doesn't brag about anything. So there you go. Anyway, I got to thank you for all turning up. I don't know how many's here. No idea. Was it? Oh, 39. And is that 39? Oh, 36 thumbs up. There you go. Oh, I can't thumb myself up. There you go. Anyway, we'll do this more often, I think. We'll try and pick a day or an evening we must get involved in doing this. All I can do is try to help you guys with the experience I've gone through. That's all I can say. And if I can help you and people help me, I'll do my very best here. Charlie's doing fine. She's okay. She's working again today, doing some overtime. And she's trying to save money because she wants to go to Japan next year as a tourist. So that's her plan in her head. She wants to go to Japan. She did Australia, was it last year or the year before, with a boyfriend? Brisbane area, up the Gold Coast, they did all that. But she wants to go, she got this thing about Japan. She wants to go and see Japan. So she's putting overtime in. So thank you, Mark. And Lee, H&H Express, I can't remember your name, John of Piccadilly, Peter, Delft Junction. Thank you to Mark at Stanover, Andy Hot Dog Pilot, Martin at Coalbridge Junction, Paul Weaver, Clive at Newland Railway, S&J Train World. This goes on and on and on, and it's just thank you for being there. And I'll try and do this more often and try and get a better camera set up for you. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll look into it anyway. All right. So Thank you, guys. It's time for tea. Tea time. I'm a bit gasping now. And it's a bit warm in here. I've got it up to 28 Celsius in here. It's getting a bit warm in here now. So thank you again, once again. Thank you. And I'll see you later. Bye for now. Bye.